that I'm not streaming at the right quality, but it's exactly the same settings as last time, and I feel like it looked okay. So who knows? Every time I do this, it feels like everything has changed a bunch, and I have to reset OBS. And I think I finally figured out the mic cutting out bit, so hopefully it doesn't cut out this time, like it did last time. I reinstalled plugins and all this stuff to make it work, but hopefully it all works. That's what I'm hoping for today. So let me see what I can do here to get everything up. I'm sure like 100 YouTube channels use this song. It's one of those like top music for YouTube 2019, 2020 things, and so everybody uses it, I'm sure. But it's catchy as all hell, and so why wouldn't you use it? Why would you stopped? You stopped 1995 race or 1955 race 2. Don't stop those. Those are what I'm doing right now. I'm pretty excited to round out that season. I've been doing a little practice at Bremgarten to get everything set. I have to practice a ton around there. I do not know that track at all, unlike some of the other circuits. So let's see what I can do here. We'll stop sharing main image. See if you can see GPLRank. So we did this a few weeks ago, and it was pretty successful. I had said in that stream that I was trying to do, or getting negative, what's called getting negative on the GPLRank. And so that is basically setting quicker times than the base times are for the GPLRank, or each track essentially. And so it's time trials. It's the old way of kind of competing online. Whoever set the quickest times overall was touted as the quickest, aka Gregor Hutu or Gregor Hutu. Was pretty much that guy. But I always wanted to get negative on the rank, and I never really honestly gave it a good effort. And so I thought that would be a fun idea for some from basic YouTube stuff. So we set last time Monza and Watkins Glen, and I actually want to split and show all chassis. Let's see here. We actually want to look at the GPLRank. That's the one I care about. The other ones are cool. Maybe some point we'll go look at everything else. I cannot view. Hold on. Let's see my times here. Where was it? Show my ranks? Here we go. Show my ranks. Okay. So GPLRank. I'm ranked right now, but I actually want to look at everything by car. Here we go. This is where we are. So we're taking a look specifically with the Brabham. And this doesn't look like what we looked at last time. Where the hell are we? Hold on. 107% potentially. No, we definitely have our our Monza and Watkins Glen times in there because we weren't positive. I have raced on iRacing in the past. I haven't done it a bunch in the past couple years. Here and there I do. I don't know why. I'm a little disillusioned with iRacing. Here we go. Finally. Okay, so we set the Monza 130.134 last time out, which was good enough, and then we set the Watkins Glen 106.77. So I'm doing kind of arbitrarily here the Brabham, which is a nice car to drive in Vanilla Grand Prix Legends. We're doing everything vanilla, which a lot of folks really don't like, but it is, the spirit of the rank is kind of the base game, and so I want to make sure everything is as it would be and set all my times true so there's no competition or doubting, I guess, anything. So we've got good times for Kyalami, Mexico, Monza, Watkins Glen. I'm not going to do Nürburgring. It's too late at night to do Nürburgring right now. But I do want to do Mosport. Mosport is a track which I've not done a ton of racing around. And so I thought it would be a fun one to try to get good at. We got to get to a 1:23.134. That's our secret time to get to it on the circuit. I have no idea how fast I would be. I'm gonna actually write this down. 1:23.134. I've honestly done maybe 10 races ever in the 20 years I've been playing GPL around this circuit. So it should be an interesting one to try out and see how quick we can be just right off the bat. I've learned a bunch about car setup in the last couple of weeks, so that should be something. That should be something that I can use in this. But we're gonna jump right in here. Let me know if you can't hear anything. I think I've got everything figured out settings-wise, but you never know. Since YouTube's yelling at me today about the quality of the stream. Who knows? Okay, so Mosport, it's a pretty basic track. As you can see from the map, it kind of just curls through the countryside here in rural Canada. It's actually a pretty close track to where I live in New England, but up in Canada. I think they started racing here in F1 in 1967. So the game includes it because it would have been the first year that they raced at it. But pretty basic circuit, and one of the cool things is that it's exactly the same as it is today. I know I did the 1968 Alton Park race recently just to show off the 1968 mod, and I mentioned how Alton Park is pretty much the exact same circuit today. And so, Mosport is another one of those. I don't think they've changed anything about it, which is pretty remarkable because it's kind of a dangerous track. They've added some runoff areas and things, but pretty simplistic circuit. The turns down here, turn 4 is a huge dip, and then it jumps into 5A, and then around the corner Moss, which is like one of the only named corners except for the last one, White's Corner. At least in the 60s here. So this is the trickiest part of the circuit. The rest of this, 2A, 2B, are deceptively difficult, but once you get them figured out, they're pretty easy. But turns 5A, Moss, 5C, that's where we'll be spending all our time to get the 123, 134. That's our goal here. We'll take a look at the car setup. This is pretty basic stuff. We got the default setup, so we're going to customize it a little bit. We're going to lower the fuel, obviously. Now we need to take a little bit of fuel on because you can't do quick laps with a full tank. We'll do 6 gallons. That'll be pretty good for what we're going to do. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 laps for everything to heat up tire wise, and then we'll be able to get going. We're going to even out our tire pressures, 20 psi all around. As always, I'm going to raise the ride height. We're looking pretty good actually at 325/35, which is not too bad. Front brake bias looks good. Let's flip over to drivetrain. Now this is what I've been experimenting a lot with, and I think I talked about it like a year ago when we did some of the 1955 season. Ramp angles are one of those things that is highly contested in GPL. So basically, it's how aggressive your coasting and on power settings are for the drivetrain. I don't know much beyond that at this point, but what I've learned is that 85/30 is like the most conservative setting you could possibly have, meaning when you're off throttle or on throttle, the car is going to drive kind of as straight and easy as possible, which makes sense if people are going to try Grand Prix Legends for the first time. Having the easiest settings so that they don't spin out instantly is probably good. However, everybody spins out anyway. But so actually, if you wanted to be realistic, something like 85/45 is actually pretty realistic, or rather, sorry, 45/85, pretty realistic. So I'm actually going to start there. This might be way too hard to drive, and so we'll have to see what it's like. But that's a much more realistic setting from what I've read. I've never worked on a 67 Grand Prix car, but from what I've read, so we're going to call this rank. We'll put the date in. Nice to see 50 people out. I didn't know how many folks I'd get this late. I know I've got a lot of people that watch from Europe, and so it's pretty late here on the East Coast, 9 p.m. And so thank you all for coming to watch. 50 people watching. It's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to go start warming up. So, again, we got to hit that time, 1:23, 1:34. And I have no idea what my base pace is even going to be. Last time we did this, Monza took about an hour and a half to get the time. And then we went to Watkins Glen and did it in about 15 minutes. So it's really going to depend on how good I am in general at the circuit and all that. I've got the lap charts at the very top of the screen. So I normally race with no UI or anything on the screen in Grand Prix Legends, but I put on the times and everything at the top so that folks watching and myself really can monitor how quick I am. Give me 1 second here. Alright, just wanted to turn down the speakers I've got for this. So let me know, everybody, if you're able to hear me and all that. Should be able to. So we'll fly down turns 2 here. Oh yeah. Feeling pretty good. The old Brabham is a pretty easy car to drive. It's actually, I feel like it's almost cheating to do the rank in this car. But it's honestly pretty easy to drive overall. So it's not too bad. I'll probably spin out instantly after saying that. So flying down the hill, and this is what I'm talking about. This section here, unreal, really. The massive climb up the hill, sharp corner, and then Moss is right here. It's a very tight one. And then flat out down the back straightaway here, up the hill again. Lots of elevation change on this circuit, and it's really not been changed too much since it was initially created back in the 60s. Oh, it looks like we're topping out in 5th gear there. So we might need to adjust our gear ratios overall. We'll give it a couple laps here though. And into White's corner here to end the lap. So it's a pretty short lap, which is helpful. Get pretty instant feedback for how quick we are, but this will be the first timed lap, so 1:23, 1:34 will be nowhere near that, and if we are, then this will be a pretty easy track. Just nose it down. A lot of blind corners. I think that's the tricky part about Mosport is learning where everything goes. So you see the first time light up. So each sector is going to light up on the top, and the top row is your ideal time. So that's the quickest I've gone through every sector in this session. When that turns purple, that means I've set a new ideal time, and that will create kind of my theoretical best lap possible. The bottom is my current lap. Oof. Almost spinning out there. Bottom is my current lap speed. Second row with the B, that's best lap. So that's going to be the best lap I've actually put together. So kind of like the ideal, but unlikely I'll get ideal in every sector. And then L would be my last, and spinning out, backing it into the barrier. I think we're a little too aggressive on the old diff. So we'll actually change this pretty quickly. Pretty quick. Until we get a feel for it anyway. Let's do 45-60. 45-60s. Thank you, Doug, for watching the 55 Grand Prix series. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's a fun series to do, I guess, or fun to drive those cars. They're not something, you know, I'm pretty interested in it because it's Grand Prix Legends, and I like everything historical F1. I think where my sweet spot is at, or where I really love, is the 60s, early 70s type racing. So the 55s, to do a series on it, it doesn't force me to drive them, but it gets me to drive them, and so I get to go. You know, I wouldn't race at Bremgarten, for instance, if I was just doing this on my own, most likely. So I'm pretty excited to do that race, learn that circuit, figure out what's going on. Bremgarten's a cool track too, so be a fun one to do. Alright, powering down the back straightaway. Ooh, and I should have lengthened top gear because we're pretty much hitting it there the whole way down the back straightaway. You can see how much dancing the car is doing. We'll come into White's corner here, second gear. T1. Gotta figure out the gears for each corner. Like I said, whoa, my God. Getting all kind of loose there. Driving terribly so far. We'll quickly reset the car. So in testing, you can actually do a quick reset, which is what I just did there, which is kind of nice. Yeah, after I finish the 55s, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but definitely be doing something. Kind of decided 2020 is gonna be the year I do a decent amount of videos for once. I started doing YouTube when I was in college. It was a little easier to make a video every week, but things have settled down a little bit for me, and so I know folks like watching it, and I like driving, to be honest, so if people want to watch, I'll show them my driving. I've always been racing, I just don't always record it, and so I want to do more recording in 2020. Come over the hump here. Alright, I need to try to put a lap together to see what kind of pace we have. Corner. This is technically going to be a lap, but I reset on it, so not very quick. 1:37, definitely not quick, but my optimal time, my ideal time, as GPL calls it, 1:29.7. So it's about 6 seconds off what we need. Sure, I've got it. At least a few of those seconds in it here, if I can just string this lap together. Some of these hills, I gotta figure out how quick I can actually go down them. Of course, that dive is so scary. The back straightaway here. IndyCar racing too is an interesting one. I think it just hasn't held up the same way. I know a lot of people, I get tons of comments, especially on some of the more viewed videos from folks that say, oh, this game looks like it's, you know, so old, and that's much more common on something like IndyCar too. We're gonna come across the line here, so let's take a look. 1:26, so we're about 3 seconds slow, which is not bad at all. But IndyCar 2 was pretty much the first sim game I really got into. I think maybe NASCAR 2 was the first one, but for road circuits, IndyCar 2, 1995. And not one, it's definitely not held up in the same way Grand Prix Legends is, and I love IndyCar, but you might see some old USAC stuff happening not too long from now on the channel, so maybe that'll satiate some folks that really like the IndyCar stuff. Probably first gear through that whole complex is what's needed. Yeah, fifth gear can be lengthened, maybe fourth a little bit as well. Oh, the car coming over the hill there gets all kinds of squirrely. Sliding a little wide, put it down in a second again. Hit it down the front straightaway. It's another 1:26, so this is potentially going to be a pretty hard one to get today. We'll try to do a full run here to see if we can get a little closer. I think it's going to be pretty easy to dip into the 125s. Once I get the feel for things. I'm driving lots of different kinds of cars. I've got 3 or 4 videos in the works right now. Ooh, it sideways quite a bit there. Not the best line. Put it into first gear a little sooner through turn 5 and Moss here. Trying to keep it nice and tidy, make the shortest line possible, make it quicker. NASCAR, just not as popular, I don't think, for the people that like watching my channel. Might do some more oval stuff. I would like to do, and blowing the engine there. Oh my god, that scared me. We'll keep it on the circuit. We'll see if we can roll into the pits there. But yeah, I was over revving the hell out of that. My god, I forgot how frightening the blown engines were in GPL. Hope I didn't scare anybody too much. But yeah, making it back to the pits, so not too bad. Well, we've got our optimal or ideal lap down to 124.8, which is not too bad. 123.134 is what we're going for. So we'll exit the car here. So let's take a look at the gearbox, lengthen things up a bit. Yeah, I know. Default Grand Prix Legends is not super pretty, but it's all part of the aesthetic. So let's see here. So 4th, 5th, I might go up overall with the diff ratio change. Oop, wrong way. Let's see what that looks like. It's a big change from 3.7. Basically, 4th is now, that's too much. It's going to be too much. So let's see. We'll dive up one setting. We'll do a 2 on 4th. We'll see what that's like. Yeah, F for the old Brabham engine blowing there in spectacular fashion, as was the norm in the time. But good thing we don't have to clean up the oil on the circuit. All right, let's go back out and see what we can do. And all we need is a couple clean laps, so we don't necessarily need to preserve the engine anyway. Come down to second gear here. One tough thing about the tachometer is that you cannot see what the numbers are anyway, so I'm kind of guessing how high I would rev. When it starts, or I guess when it stops picking up pace, that's gonna hurt quite a bit. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually blown the Repco V8. Pretty rare, for sure. But I was revving it quite a bit. And who knows, I might have had some damage. So that's a little better this time. Although I'm topping out still pretty quick here. Slide around the corner. Almost losing it there. Pretty easy to run a little wide on these fast corners, and like we were doing at Monza, if you catch the grass just a little bit on the rear tire, you're done for. I was actually interested if folks have VR. Now VR, not something I've really done seriously. I've tried it out at a couple friends' houses and things. One who has sim racing, or iRacing specifically, so I was able to try it out with a real racing sim. Pretty cool. It was the Gen 1 Oculus, so resolution and things left something to be desired. Would be interested if somebody would try it out. There's a program, and I'm forgetting the name right now, that you can kind of run pseudo VR in most games. I think it just renders a bigger resolution and then allows you to move your head within that. And I'd be interested if somebody could try that in GPL and see what it looks like. If we take a break here for a minute, I'll try to find out the name of that program. But that would make me very interested in VR, because GPL in VR would be epic. At least I think so. We're going to have to give it a couple laps here to heat up the tires, of course. 67s take a little while to get some grip going. It's a pretty good last sector there. I think we've got some pace now. Getting nice run through there. Car feels pretty good, to be honest. I don't think it's going to take too many modifications in the setup or anything like that to get it as I spin it out. Oh, damn. I'm going to have to reset the car there. It pounded the gearbox. And that's too bad at the top of the hill. That's a tricky corner. Definitely, I think need to take the whole complex in first gear. But getting the car to stick nice. Yeah, you can take a look at the chat and running off the circuit. We'll maybe able to save it. My God, spinning forever in the dirt. Just reading a comment. You can definitely race any car on any track in GPL. It takes a little bit of finagling to actually get it correct and sort everything out. I mean, if you want to race Grand Prix Legends, you know, beyond the demo is super easy. Go install that. You can just run it, take some laps in any of those cars. There's no like extra configuration needed really. However, if you want to if you want to edit things or install other mods, you're gonna have to be comfortable doing some, text editing at the least and things to set things up the way you want. I spend quite a bit of time playing around with settings and things, getting pretty deep into the file structure of GPL and getting it to work the way I want it. And it's just kind of it's actually one of the things I kind of have fun with the game is setting up the whole sim to behave or do something specific. So don't want to discourage anybody from trying out GPL. I know there's ways to do it without much custom editing, but you got to be at least a little comfortable with installing stuff or copying files from folders, renaming things, all that. Alright, we got to put in some legit effort here. Make a little progress on our fast time. Try not to get too light over the hill there. Pretty easy to spin out then. No curb on the final corner there, so you can kind of nip the grass a little bit. Thanks. The Isle of Man vid was fun to do. It's actually pretty challenging. I'll admit that wasn't my first attempt at it, and I even made, obviously, a couple mistakes in the old Alpine, as have been corrected, to call the car. I don't think it matters that much, but really fun car to race. I'm not even lying, so amazed with the physics for it. Just feels like a totally different physics engine. Love when I find something new for GPL. There's 22 years of history and mods to unravel. We'll get it nice and tidy through turn 5 there. Just feels so slow through that part of the circuit. Accelerate up the gears now. Up through 5th. We take another rest in the pits here. We'll that's the car getting very squirrely there. We'll up the gears once again because we're still maxing out. Put it into a second here for the final 2 corners. Alright, setting some purple and greens. That's what I want to see. Too much white going on up there. get flat on the throttle here down the hill. Second gear then. Trying to figure out which gear is appropriate for each turn. Loving second, how that's feeling right now for a few of these corners. Of course, when you get higher up in the RPM range, the car behaves totally differently, so it's kind of nice to do. Sliding it through there, very slow on the exit from Moss. It'd be cool if they redid this game with anything, but only if they preserved the stuff that makes it unique. Like all of the AI settings and the tracks and everything. Ugh, it's running too wide there through the fast corner. Alright, hit the wall, so we're gonna jump into the pits. Play with a couple more settings here on the old car setup. Lengthen fifth and fourth gears again. Might do third as well to make sure we don't have too much of a gap. I think otherwise the car feels all right. I might stiffen the front a little bit. That might help with Moss. Turn 5 in Moss. All right. Is there auto clutch in GPL? Well, I'm not sure actually. Always, or for the last 15 years, I've used a wheel and pedal set that have a H pattern and a clutch, so not sure I'll be much help there. I have tried R Factor 2, and I'm considering doing a similar video to like I did with Assetto Corsa and in Grand Prix Legends, where I take a look at a car and track in R Factor 2 and then run a similar race in GPL. From what I remember, the AI and stuff are much better in R Factor 2 and when set up properly than Assetto Corsa, and the track with the variable conditions and things is a lot of fun, so it'd be cool to do like a rain race or something. But yeah, I don't know what exists right now for like historically accurate mods, because I know everything that's in R Factor 2 is kind of fictional by default, simulated off of real cars but called different things. Getting a little air there through the last corner, so we're gonna run wide again. My God, every lap. Well, we're pushing when we keep hitting the wall. R Factor 2 is good though. I think it's a cool sim, and I know there's some good historic content for it, so I should try it. Another one I've tried and liked quite a bit, although it's a different era, but Automobilista, I remember having some cool 70s cars and tracks, so that'd be a fun one maybe to do some videos on as well. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff out there, and I know I normally stick to pretty much Grand Prix Legends, but I'm open to trying new things. I'm not a one sim guy. I know there's other stuff out there that's good too. I use a G27. So G27 wheel, the pedals, I've got the Bodnar cable for those that are in sim racing. Basically just increases the fidelity of the pedals themselves and makes them more accurate, I guess you could say. By default, I think, just for example, the pedal, let's say the gas pedal picks up 100 different points at which you press it down. The Bodnar cable will increase that to like 1,000 different places, so you can just be more accurate. And it's one of those things that on paper you'd say that's not going to do too much, but in actuality it's pretty wild how nice it makes everything feel, much different it makes it feel. So I use that. The pedals, I also have a spring mod in the pedals, so it makes the pressure to push pedals, especially the brake, much harder. And that was actually pretty recent. Installed that maybe a year ago. And then G27 stock wheel. I'd love a new wheel, actually. I'd love one with some changeable rims, maybe have I know Thrustmaster, I think, or Fanatec makes a wheel with a rim, like a wooden rim. That would be fun to use for like the 50s cars. But right now, just the stock G27, which works pretty well. This wheel itself is very similar to the Brabham wheel here, actually, on screen. And then actually upgraded to the TH8A Thrustmaster shifter, the gated shifter from Thrustmaster. So that's been an awesome upgrade. It just feels so much more satisfying to pop it in and out of gears. You could probably hear it a bit more in my videos than previous, but I think it sounds pretty good, honestly. Alright, so the gearing feels quite a bit better now. We're topping out just as we get up over the hill here. Put it in third gear. That's going to help me get it through this right-hander. I'll just need to shift down one gear for this corner, stay in second for the final turn. It's a much better, I think, combination of gears. Once again, setting a purple sector in the last sector, but not able to make any inroads so far on my first and second sectors here, which we'll definitely need to get close to the time. We're shooting for a very low 123.1. Car getting really squirrely into turn 5 there, so we'll head up the hill. It's such a tough corner, my god. Setting a pretty good sector there though. It felt like it was all over the place. So tough with that rise. I don't know if I need to brake and downshift before it or after it. I'm missing the apexes there on the final corner, but we're down to a 124 flat, so we're about a second off of the time we need. I'm going to run wide through T2 there. We'll be able to keep it out of the fence. So this lap is no good, but I feel pretty good. So we're making up a little bit of time, getting used to the old Mosport circuit here. Again, not a track that has changed at all since this era. You know, if you go race this track in iRacing right now, same layout. Gotta figure out how to take this little complex better. I know in iRacing too, that's a really challenging corner. So the ideal lap's down to 123.91. Remember, 123.134 is the time we're looking for here. Oh, we're overcooked that quite a bit. Hard into the fence. Crashing a lot here tonight. Maybe because it's late. Appreciate folks coming out. I can't believe we got 50 people watching at 9:40 p.m. East Coast. And here I was thinking most of the viewers are from Britain. That's what YouTube tells me anyway, that most of the people that watch my channel are from Britain, but maybe they'll just have to catch the rewind of this. I feel like the car's good. I don't need to fuss around with the setup. I just need to hammer down and actually drive this thing. Come over the top of the hill here. Well, it's also a Tuesday night, so if you've got no life on a Tuesday night, that's fine in my book. Oh yeah, it's true, Australia. I hope all you guys are alright down there. I've got a good friend that lives in Sydney right now, and I mean, I know the whole country's on fire, so not a lot the regular folk can do, but definitely hope everybody's doing alright. Somehow improved my ideal time to a 1:23.8, so getting closer, making some progress. First gear, man, I don't know if I'll ever get that corner right. I think we might have to pray to get a good lap without getting turn 5 right. Oh my god. Throwing the suspension into the dirt there. This is what I get for trying to read comments while I'm driving. Alright, I'm not reading anything else. We got 67 viewers watching. That's the magic number. Thanks for watching, for sure. This is some pitiful driving going on right now. Philly, Pennsylvania. Been to Philly a bunch of times. Car just has no grip the first, few corners you take. Once you reset the car in Grand Prix Legends like I just did, it's effectively like starting right out of the pits. Your tires are rock cold. I got a feeling this has got to be one of the tougher tracks in GPL. It's the elevation changes upset the car so much. Nobody should feel sorry for making me go off the track. It's my fault. To get a couple laps in, the tires are much better, much more heated up. Over the top of the hill, turn in a little early and slide into the groove there. Second gear. Throw it into third at the top of this hill and let the RPMs tell the car where to go. And then down into second, first at the bottom with the massive compression. The car just gets so loose there. Maybe a stiffer suspension would help, I'm not sure. Almost coming to a complete stop through Moss. Definitely not the quick lane to take. might be the best way through there. I don't know if braking before the big hump is actually what is quickest. Across the line there. So we're in the 124s still. None of my sectors on that last lap were very good, but tires are now pretty good. Trying to get a good line out of T2 there. The car pitching all over the place. Trying to take a wide entry, I guess, into T5, tapping the curbs. I just don't feel like it's a very smooth corner. It's what's bugging me about it. But that might be just the nature of the corner. I have to do something like a full Grand Prix around here to really figure out the circuit. There's nothing like seat time to actually teach you a car and a track. What I'm doing here is kind of a crash course to see if I can almost accidentally nip a quick lap out of it. If you do 100 laps around the circuit, you'll learn a lot more about what it means to be quick, where you can push the car, where you can't. So 124 flat, getting close to the best lap I've turned so far. We're just like 3,000ths off that lap. I have to remember I can punish the brake pedal in these cars. Used to driving the 55s right now where I've got to be pretty soft on that old brake. And yeah, getting a fastest sector through the first couple of corners there. Whoa, almost throwing it away. Down the hill into turn 5, getting all crossed up. Running wide through Moss. So that ruins that lap quite a bit. Yeah, some of the tracks almost blend together in the vanilla Grand Prix Legends because of the poor textures, to say the least. But I don't know. For me, it has a lot of nostalgia because I raced the sim like this for like 5 years when I first got it. I didn't know there was any patches or anything, or that people could even edit. And I thought it looked good. I think we all thought it looked good back when it came out. Nobody could run it even either on computers. We needed a pretty good PC to run this in 1998. I think we upgraded to a Pentium 3, and finally I was able to run GPL, and then I had all kinds of issues getting it actually to run correctly because the processor was almost too quick. To think 22 years later we're still able to run the sim and run it almost better than it's ever been run is pretty awesome. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that corner. I'm almost gonna start seeking advice. I feel like I need to back it up quite a bit and get a good, just maximize my run out of Moss. But Mosport is an awesome circuit. And one of those, like I said, still exactly the same today. Oh, 123.7, so we're about 6/10 off the time we need. 123.134. That will get us, quote unquote, negative here at Mosport. And it feels so awesome when everything grips up. get it around Moss there. Just trying to maybe carry a little more apex speed to see if that could do anything, but I did get a new green sector, purple sector there, sector 2. Sector 3 as well. I'm getting pretty close. It's the worst entry ever. It's keeping it super sideways there. Coming across the line, just a few tenths off now. Downshifting a little early there for the top of the hill, and running it into the dirt, trying to keep it off the wall, and smacking the barrier. Oh my god. So close. We're playing at 36 FPS for those talking about that. But we're very, very close. Just a few tenths off. Our ideal best lap right now is at a 1:23.21. Let's take a quick look at some lap times. So this last run, you can see about lap 4 into the run is when the tires finally grip up and have enough grip to go quick. The last couple laps there felt awesome. I don't know if I need to change anything in the car. I might actually raise the ride height just a little, which seems non-intuitive, but I want to see if I can stop bottoming out at the bottom of turn 4 and 5 there, which has been a struggle here. Let's see. I'm actually going to lower the fuel down 5 gallons. That should be enough. All right, we're going to go right back out because I feel like we're right on the cusp of getting this. So we'll have to take it easy here the first couple laps out of the pits. Car's going to have nowhere near the grip we just had. As I demonstrate that by sliding off the circuit at an absurdly low speed. I feel like that's the part that catches people out, like it just caught me out with GPL, is cars have no speed at all when they're on cold tires. No lateral grip. You can't overdo it at all, and when you've just been racing quickly, it almost catches you, or does catch you off guard. And that's one of the things some of the newer mods have changed quite a bit, because I think it definitely was the part of GPL that folks said, that's just not realistic in the slightest, and I tend to agree with them. Having the car bottom, or be so slick on cold tires at low speeds, just, you know, cold tires don't have grip, but they don't have no grip at all. So in some of the newer mods, or generally the mods overall, they've got a little more lateral grip at a slow speed, which definitely helps, and it's why often folks will suggest the 65 mod as a place to start with GPL for new drivers, because it's a lot more forgiving than these 67 default cars. But this is what the default rank is set with. You can't use the mods to set the default, or if you did, that would be cheating, because they're, I think, quite a bit quicker with the mods. Whoa, popping out of gear there. We just need to give it a few corners here to really, or a couple of laps really, to get the tires nice and warm, and we can really thrash back at it. I feel like raising the ride height was the right choice. The car feels a little more stable overall. So we're clobbering the curbs on each side. Out of the woods here, over the hump, and a third gear. Car's starting to grip up nicely. Just put that in perspective. Now, that wasn't a good lap at all. It was pretty slow in a couple spots, but it was a 127, and we were just doing 123s. Definitely a big change once the grip comes up on the tires. The rear end hang out there. Well, and you can get the power down nice through turn 4. The car really sinks into the pavement there. I'm just touching that dirt to the outside in turn 5. But I'll try to get that line through turn 4 again, because I think if I can hook that up and really jam the throttle, it'll pretty much improve the time, maybe find the 3 or so tenths that I'm missing. Throw it in and the car snaps, and catch it, throw it in, catch it. Starting to grip up really nice now. Oh, a nice run through turn 2 there. First sector, a new best. We're just about at that goal time with the ideal lap, so I know I can do it. Just have to string it all together. Oh, I'm not catching the good line through turn 4. So come into turn 5 now, up the hill. Try not to run wide into Moss. Maximize the exit on the throttle there. Way up through the gears, then down the back straightaway. Oh, I'm just kissing the curb. It's really easy to have the curbs push the car out. It's a pretty good lap overall, but messed up a couple corners there. 123.27, just a tenth off or so now, tenth and a half. And put it into first gear there, which is not what I need. Luckily didn't crash the car. I'm ignoring the chat a little bit, but I appreciate everybody watching me struggle through some laps here at Mosport. This is a tricky track for sure. Never really done, other than a couple season races, I've raced a full 67 season a couple times in Grand Prix Legends offline, and have raced here, but outside of that I've never just picked up and done a race at Mosport, so it might be my worst track, just knowing the corners and everything. Taking a little more time to get up to speed here, but I think we're very close. Let's see if we can set a good pace here. As my optimum's under 23, which is awesome to see. Just using the inside of the circuit there to help turn the car around. Pretty good lines here through the first couple of sectors. Slowing it down in a straight line there. We'll try to hug the inside through turn 5 and Moss. Get on that throttle as soon as we can. I felt pretty good that time, maybe the best I've done through there. The sector time won't lie. So we'll come to the end of the long straightaway. Oh yeah, best sector. Through Moss. Oh, and throwing the away. Trying to keep it off the wall. Not going to be able to. God dang. Oh man. And we've got the optimum down to 122.7, which is a pretty quick time, I would say. I don't know how quick folks can do it here. But for me that's pretty quick, I think. I'd be absolutely stoked to get a 122 around here. But now we'll have to start all again, get these tires warmed back up. It gets really intense there once the tires grip up because you just can feel the car progress. It's very addictive. I don't know. No other sim does this for me like GPL does. I think because the heat up is so dramatic, it feels real good. Yeah, and I was definitely going to hit it before that incident. Just took the wrong line over the hill. I got to take it pretty conservative through that last section. Yeah, that turn is crazy, and it's the hill before it that really gets me. The car gets really light, and so I have to dip it into fourth before the hill. That'll make the car not, jump super far off the ground. And then third gear to try to nail that apex. This is raw GPL. This is base game, like no mods installed at all. I do have a couple mods, so obviously we're watching this at high resolution, so there is a high resolution mod involved. But that is why we're seeing it in 1080. So that's in here, so the new rasterizers, just to make it run on a modern system. I've got the force feedback patch, version 3, which I started using a couple months ago, and it's absolutely awesome. Force feedback's honestly pretty good now in GPL with the force feedback 3 mod. Been using it on all of the recent videos, and it definitely you can feel the car on the circuit a ton more. And I think that's it. I think I've got maybe the camera mod on, so I can take some screenshots and stuff if I need to, but otherwise, stock, all stock graphics, stock physics. And I feel like this is the right way to do the rank. When the rank was made, this is what people were playing, so I want to have that authentic experience. I know it's not quite as pretty to look at or immersion. It's a little more of a game. I run on an ultra-wide monitor, actually. I think it's a 3440 by 1400, and I've got it cropped to 1080, since that YouTube tends to like that best for videos, or general people do. But I can see a little bit more on the right and left than you all can. I think during my last live stream I actually had the output resolution at the default, which gave me black bars and everything on it, but I think, yeah, other than that, it's an LG, just a really nice screen overall. Looks amazing with Grand Prix Legends. Alright, so we're starting to get a little more grip up in the tires. I feel like maybe a lap away from starting to set really quick times again. Would love to throw a sleeper lap in here. Just kind of set a quick one. Just by being nice and consistent. Feels like that's what I did at Watkins Glen. It was such an easy time to get compared to Monza and here. Yeah, I did change the mic around this time, and all it was some of the plugins I was using. I have a little compression and EQ to cut out the nasty lows and everything on the mic, so I removed, I think, a heavy plugin I was using, and it solved the issue. Hopefully everything sounds good. I haven't seen anybody complain about it this time, which is good. So 124.8, which is no slouch of a lap. I would have been pretty excited about that 30 minutes ago. Nice run through T1, coming over the top of the hill, braking down to third, trying to get on the throttle to turn the car around. Late apex out of turn 2, just nipping the grass there. Terrible line into turn 3. See if we can resurrect something out of this lap. Running a little wide through turn 4, braking down to turn 5. Car almost getting away from me there. Figuring out Moss a little bit. It almost just feels like you get there now. Sliding all over the circuit, but ooh, the car dipping down in the RPMs there on top of the hill. Sliding through, almost ruining my whole run here. Have to watch out for those. Just running a little wide. A big implication of another 10 minutes of warming up the tires. So that was a 123.8, so bringing that lap time down. Up to third gear, fourth gear. Getting a good first sector, but the exit out of turn 2 there was no good. Not gonna throw it all away though. A really fast run into turn 4, but somehow able to make it stick, leading me to believe I can actually take that corner a bit quicker. Really slow through Moss there. Feels slow every time. It was only a 10th off though, so this could still be a pretty good lap. Not a lot of opportunity to look at the lap time as you're flying around this circuit. The car is almost in a corner the whole lap. And just nicking that curb to the inside, throwing me wide a little bit. This will be a pretty good lap though overall. 123.2, 123.3. Such a close time. We're about a 10th and a half off. Quick run through T1 again, making that mistake on the exit. Down through turn 4, bouncing off the curb. All right, I need to back out of it a little bit on this lap. I don't want to throw the car away. The tires end up gripping up so much that the car almost drives completely differently. So it almost goes completely the other way, where you have to learn how to drive the car when it is gripped up. Ugh. Oh my God, and throwing it off here again. I'm so close to this time. Give me 1 second here. It's the absolute hardest corner, I think, on this circuit. But we're going to try to stick with it. I was hoping to maybe do a couple circuits here tonight, but I think we're going to be busy just getting Mosport's time in. All right. So hoping this will be the run now. Yeah, I don't know if it's bad luck or just running out of talent. That might be more what it is. Definitely would not drive like this during a race. You know, when I'm racing, being much more conservative with the car. I mean, take opportunities when you can get them, but not you know, not taking anything too over the top, you know, being conservative with lines, passing AI cars and things. When trying to set ultimate lap time, you got to drive a little beyond your limits sometimes. Over the top of the hill here. Just want to send it, but with the tires cold like this, cannot be too fast just yet. Almost feels like you're driving in slow motion. Early on in the Grand Prix too, it's so freaky. First couple laps, I always talk about it pretty much in every video. Cold tires coming off the line, but I have to remind myself almost that the car is not going to grip too much for a couple of laps. Trying to slide the car a little bit just to help warm up those tires. Not looking for lap time yet. We're looking for that 1:23.134. That'll be the time that will get us rank here at Mosport. Been very close. Best lap right now is a 1:23.27. So just about a tenth and a half off. And our best lap, my best lap's down to a 1:22.7. So I've got the speed. I just got to put the lap together. And part of that is getting these tires heated up because the car does not like cold rubber. Yeah, the game has changed quite a bit in 22 years. Some think this looks ugly, I just get nostalgic for it. Alright, so we should be getting closer to quick tires here. As I almost throw away the lap time again. At the third to last corner. That corner is so tough. That's the big one on the circuit that I gotta watch out for. Not able to get on the gas quite as soon as I wanted just yet. Very aggressive on the pedals here. I'm right foot braking for anybody wondering, which is definitely not the quickest way. I could turn off the clutch and everything and just left foot brake, but that would totally ruin it for me. I want to beat the rank with the right foot braking. Locking up the tires there. I've got so many skid marks into this corner. Oh, running a little wide there. Can really throw the cars sideways to kill extra speed. 1:24.2 that time. chopping the entrance to turn 2. Getting a good exit that time. Get me set up for later braking into turn 3. Pretty scary turn 4 into turn 5. Feeling slow as ever through there. But as long as I don't clip the curb to the inside of Moss, everything goes fine. Yeah, these cars would not have been raced with both feet. Would have been raced right foot braking, so there's been a lot of debate about the use of clutch. I use it on both up and down shifts since I've got the foot free anyway. Across the line, 122.93. And that was one of those sleeper laps that I just hit the sectors the way I knew they were supposed to be hit. Not driving anything too crazy, but so excited to get that time. Pump my fist in glory as we come over through turn 2 here. 122.93, so beating the time I needed to by a couple of tenths. But so thankful to get that done finally. I want to take a quick look at the lap here like we were doing last time. So we'll see here. How did I do it? So pretty quick. So it was only on my, it's, I guess, second, third, fourth, fifth lap that I was able to get the time, which is super awesome. So we'll come rewind our replay here, go full screen with it. We'll take a quick ride on board, talk about the lap a little bit there, but thanks for sticking through that one. That was a pretty hectic run to try to get the lap. Just really easy to screw up around Mosport. Let's throw it on the old roof cam. Throw it on the roll bar here. All right, so coming to the start-finish line. Got a conservative exit, but able to get on the throttle there pretty quick. Down to second for turn 1. Back up to third pretty much right away so I could hammer down the gas and not get too much wheel spin. Fourth for just a second, back down to third. Turn in way too early. I nicked the curb there that lap. But then getting a good exit, not even using all the track there, which is honestly good because it'll throw you into the dirt. Down to second again for turn 3 here. Flat out up through third, fourth gear, back down to third. And again, another one of these blind, just throw it in. Ran a little wide, but able to get down on the throttle. Then second, first, straightening it out for the bottom of 5. Down to second gear there. Wow, that's probably where I got all the lap time. Clipping that apex at Moss, nice, and then just fast through this long straightaway. No need to lift through any of this right-hand kink here, and then trying to be a little conservative, aim it towards the middle of the circuit, down through fourth, then third once you get over the hill. I was way off the groove, but making sure I'm not going to take too much of the track and spin out. Then a second gear, running wide there, second gear again for the final corner, not shifting at all, and then running it to the line. And a lot of errors in that lap, but I feel good about it. I'm not going to try to set more of a time there. So pretty stoked about that. Let me save the replay here. So, saving the GPLRank laps. You can see my fist raising in the background. Call it GPLRank Moss, so I guess the date's changed since we last did this. Alright, save that. Alright, so let's exit the sim here. Stuntman Daz, this is not an easy game. At least not for me. I'm sure for some others it's easy enough. Alright, so why don't we get a little music going in the background while we take a look here. I'm actually going to throw up the screen for just a second. I'm going to get my times added here to GPLRank, and so we can take a look at how everything looks now. Alrighty. Alright, so uncover the screen here. We'll take a look at the ranks overall. Alright, so we've got our time added now. So Mosport, the 1:22.926. So we beat the goal time by 0.2, which I feel pretty good about. I guess the Monza time was the closest so far. I've crushed the Mexico time in the past. I might have to revisit that one since I didn't do it on stream. But Kyalami as well, 0.2 up. So we have a lot of tracks left. Watkins Glen we were able to beat. Zandvoort Spa, that's the old Spa as well. It's going to be the old wide version of the track. Silverstone, Rouen, Nürburgring, that's going to be the scary one. And then Monaco, which will be its own type of crazy. But that's going to be it for tonight. I was going to try to do a couple tracks originally, but it took way longer than I thought it was going to be to get Mosport, and feeling pretty tired here. So appreciate everybody coming out, and thanks very much for watching. But I'll catch you next time, and we'll try for another one. Let me know what track you think we should do next. Pretty much open to any of them. Maybe we'll save the Nürburgring for last and make it epic. But yeah, talk to you guys again next time.